Dude, actually, yeah, before, I mean, if you want to do this, I don't know if you want to talk more, but before we transition to entertainment news, or like what happened in 2016, like with other stuff, dude, this is kind of a loaded question, but I have three questions for you, and I'll answer them as well. So, number one, what was your game of the year for 2016? Number two, what was the your least favorite game you played this year? Like of all the games you played, what was the one that you were like, not necessarily that it's a bad game, but you were really disappointed in? And number three, what's the game at the moment that you're the most anticipated for 2017?
Hmm.
Do you want me to go
So
first or?
what? Well, let's go them at the same time then. So
Okay.
one.
Okay. So, what was your game of the year? That's the first one.
Um, See, if I played it, I'd have to
Right.
say Overwatch,
Okay.
but
Yeah,
I haven't
everyone's
played it
been yeah.
because apparently, but when I've been reading up on it and everything else, it apparently sounds amazing, and the kind of work that they've done,
Mhm.
it kind of feels a bit unjust.
Right.
Not to kind of give them a little bit more credit recognition. Obviously, I haven't played it, so I can't really argue it being my game of the year.
Right.
But I kind of want to just put it out there because it's been a big game to kind of come out. What other games have come out? I mean, I don't know if obviously I can't even say about Batman because I haven't finished Batman yet. Fuck's sake, I'm so far behind on so many games. Like I don't really know where to kind of start. Um, there's, I mean, like if I have to go with one and have it
Right.
be straight, the most obvious choice is probably Uncharted 4.
Right. Well, that's
It was
mine.
it
Yeah.
yeah.
That was my game of the year was Uncharted 4 at Thief's End. Yeah.
Because like I mean like there's Inside as well which I want to play which got glowing reviews.
Great
Is
game,
it
dude.
Inside?
Really good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Inside.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Inside, which is like another game, and there was some other games that I played and bought over the year, but like Uncharted 4, and obviously people say, oh, it's going to be the easy like contender and stuff like that, but it's a franchise that's built its name of being a very credible kind of like series
Yeah.
from like installment to installment. I feel like the way they kind of signed it off in that kind of sense was really good, so I kind of really appreciated it.
Mhm.
I didn't think the gameplay was brilliant. I feel like it's always been a problem with Naughty Dog and Uncharted series and The Last of Us. But I mean, like, oh wait, sorry, Chris, I've just had like an epiphany. We forgot to mention The Last of Us 2 as well at PlayStation
Oh, shit, yeah. Fuck, they did announce that. Okay, let's
Experience.
go back. We'll go back to this in a moment. Let's talk about Last of Us 2. Yeah, so yeah, they
Just
finally did it.
they
Like,
finally did it. They didn't take our name into consideration, The Last of
yeah.
Us 2 with a
Yeah.
comma and two, which was a little bit disappointing because I was like, oh. No, I was because I said to you before and like many times I don't want to see a sequel with Ellie and Joel because I felt that story was perfect,
Right.
and I'd rather them move to Last of Us 2 to like Europe, because it's actually called The Last of Us Part 2, so it's almost like the Godfather Part 2 kind of
Yeah,
thing. I
I
was
thought
like,
that was very
I like,
classy of them, by the way.
yeah, I like that idea because it just wasn't just The Last of Us 2, like still standing or whatever. Like it was a really crap subtitle or something afterwards. No, I like the trailer. The way the setup was really good. It looks phenomenal on that machine. The way they're showing off that footage, and I'm more than happy with Ellie being the main character
Yeah,
because I
yeah.
always liked Ellie a lot more than Joel.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
obviously, our boy Baker's back as well. Uh,
Yeah.
but I was very excited to see it. It looked cool, and it just yeah, it looks like it's gonna be an unbelievable project. Very interesting though because Bruce Straley's not working on it
Yeah.
uh, because he's on sabbatical. Last time I read,
Yeah.
but a writer from Westworld's working on it.
Yeah, dude.
Um,
Yeah, that was one of the things that
who
let like
is
kind of wooed me because like at first I rolled my eyes when they announced it. I'm like, yeah. Of course. Go ahead. Go ahead and take a crap on a pretty
Haley
good story.
Cross?
But
Yeah,
like but then like when more information was released on it, I was like, "Holy shit, this sounds amazing." Like the Westworld person is writing. I'm like, "Damn, they got one of the writers from Westworld. I love that show." And then like slowly more and more stuff was not leaking out, but they were announcing. And I'm like, "You know what, man? I think this game's going to be really good." So, I'm
yeah,
positively optimistic about it. But I still think that Sony needs to learn, and so does Naughty Dog, that you don't have to fucking franchise everything that you release. You know, like if you release something, it could be a beautiful one-off thing. And I hate how we live in a society now, in entertainment at least, where like everything has to be franchised, and I hate that. I just want like things don't get franchised off unless they fail. That's the only time. Like
Yeah,
you won't get a
I
sequel if unless it bombs, and I hate that.
I have to kind of I agree with that in a certain sense, but I have to see it from different points of views because it reminds me of the fact that because like one coincidentally, Uncharted coming to an end in the sense of Naughty Dog making main sequels in that game or main
Right.
installments
Right.
makes sense for The Last of Us to take that step forward of being that
Yeah.
series, and even that fact that they call it The Last of Us Part Two, it's almost like it can be an anthology of games.
That's true. It could.
Um,
It's almost like I think it's also taking the Back to the Future approach, where like Back to the Future part and Godfather as well, where it just feels like a natural continuation
yeah.
rather than like a generic, like here we are, a new adventure. You know what I mean? It feels like they're gonna naturally kind of like continue the life of these characters more than anything else. So
Mhm.
yeah, I agree with that. I think that's a
I
classy
mean,
move.
and the other one is when do you remember when Herman Hirsch, the creative director at Guerrilla Games, came on stage at E3 and said when they announced Horizon, was it last year? Last year they announced
Yeah,
Horizon.
yeah,
Do you remember how he said like it's very rare time for a new IP to come about,
yeah.
and
That's
it kind
true.
of holds a lot of weight of the fact that as much as I like things to be on their own, I kind of see it in the perspective that sometimes it can be monopolized or it can be like turned into another installment because it's like looking at it like that, for example, like Horizon, it's 10 years since Guerrilla has made a game that's not Killzone.
Yeah.
They've made Killzone non-stop, and that's basically like Horizon's that fresh start. And I feel like Naughty Dog had that fresh start with The Last of Us, but at the same time they had you know the Uncharted series running at the same time. So I feel like they are probably still planning like even bigger things in there.
Hmm. No, yeah, I agree with that. I think I mean plus and going back to what you said about what that dude said, um it is true, man. Like doing these you know what? I guess you know I guess it's okay. This sounds so like I'm in charge of the world. It's okay that they made a sequel. No, I guess I'm beginning to really warm up to the idea of a sequel, even though I thought it would kill it because dude, you're right, man. Like for a studio to take a risk on making not making a sequel or making a like we wouldn't get, I feel like we wouldn't get Horizon if it wasn't for Last of Us 2. You get what I'm saying? Cuz Sony's like, "Okay, great. We're getting a Last of Us 2 from Naughty Dog." That I think that makes them feel a little bit safer to push out, a Detroit or to push out a Horizon, because then they're like, okay, like we have these sequels to back up, fall back on that we know that's going to make a lot of money. So, yeah, I guess you do have to appreciate sequels, even though you don't want them to come out, because as long as it allows other developers to make new IPs, and like what the Guerrilla Studios guy said, where it's like, it's a rarity. Yeah, you know what? I kind of take it back. I'm definitely okay with this. More than
Hmm.
anything else.
Um, the second question, which was the most disappointing game, will go to Gears of War 4.
Oh, wait a minute, wait a
Um,
minute.
I
Before you say that, I wanted to say my part on Uncharted.
Oh shit! I just jumped
Yeah,
the gun. Sorry, boss.
no, it's
We'll go
okay.
back. We'll go back. We'll go back. Come on.
So, no, Uncharted 4 is my game of the year. And dude, it was really tough. There was a lot of games that I was kind of like, oh shit, like this one. Like at one point, Inside almost became my game of the year because that game was really fucking good. But
Hmm.
you know what it was, dude? Uncharted 4 just it accomplished so much. Number one, it pushed forward cinematic storytelling in video games again. Naughty Dog did it again. Like they did it with Last of Us, they did it again with this game where it pushed forward, and like the performances that these actors are giving, like it's basically them on like digitized at this point. Like it's their performance. And I was really impressed by that. It also, felt like such a complete package. I mean, I know there's microtransactions and that kind of fuck things up, but at the same time, we did get a multiplayer mode that was fun for a while. They did give the survival mode later on, as promised. Took them a while, but they did it. We had a really nice, amazing, fully fledged, very long too, single player mode. Like it wasn't like a short kind of thing. and the gameplay was great. The new mechanics, I love the rope swinging mechanic that they added. That was so cool. Like now you go back and you play the other ones, and you're like, why didn't they think of this before? Like this is great. And it really felt like not only a push in cinematic storytelling and the Uncharted series, because it also brought great finality to everything, but it also just it was a really fucking good game. And I put it on my list way back in May when it came out, and I kept thinking, oh, is this going to top it? Is this going to top it? And there's a lot of things that kept coming, like Final Fantasy 15 at one point. I'm like, man, this is really good, but nothing that I played. I never played Overwatch, so I can't comment on that. But nothing that I played this year overcome that. So anyway, that's the reason why Uncharted 4 is my 2016 game of the year.
That's
Yeah.
on point. So yeah, as I jumped the gun on my announcement,
So shit game.
War 4. Gears of War 4 is my biggest disappointment of 2016.
Right.
Kind of looking back on spoiler cast and all the other reviews and the reviews I wrote for it,
Right.
I did give it glowing marks on different aspects, and I don't want to take away from it. But that game is an example of where I don't want the industry to ever end.
Right.
Because I paid £80 for that game, a £40 season pass, which has got me absolutely nothing. And the Coalition is running around like fucking headless chickens making that game. And honestly, like, I understand if a game was free to play and it had those kind of paywalls, because then you have to pay to unlock them, or you put the time to put into it. Well, that game is just littered with it so badly, to the point where it looks horrendous. Like, people get outraged at other games that had it, and fair enough as well, because they're in right to do it as well. But this game is like the worst example of it, and I've been so disappointed by it. Like, looking at it in hindsight, it's been like one of the worst Gears of War installments in a long time. And it's like, because of like how much hype they put behind it, like, because like I understand going forward the Coalition, they have that kind of right of like, changing things, and obviously I felt like with Rod Ferguson being there, there'd be like a lot of retained nostalgia. But like with the Gears of War 4 one, it just doesn't feel like it as well. Like, because like it's not even, for example, like if Hideo Kojima removes like certain parts from Metal Gear, then it can still be Metal Gear. But with like, Gears of War's iconic for like having its announcers at the end of like, each round of multiplayer. Do you know where you have like Hoffman yelling at someone like in a kind of like a very bro-typical kind of way. And it was one of the best parts of the series because it's identity. And if you strip a franchise of identity, then there's nothing left of it. But I mean, like with just Gears of War 4, I could go on forever, but it's been one of the biggest disappointments of 2016. I wrote a good review for it, and it deserves a lot of praise for like other areas. But looking on it in hindsight, it's far from being a very good game. Far from it. Big disappointment, especially from Microsoft's part and the Coalition.
No, I feel you, man. I mean, yeah, no, I think you brought up some good points. I mean, I wasn't as passionate about the multiplayer as you were. Like you were like Rock'em Sock'em day one. And I was like, hey, Adnan, I'm in the easy mode. But, yeah, no, dude, I agree with like most of the things you said. I dug the single player mode, but it's definitely, I think, one of the more forgettable games for me personally this year. And it just came out in October. For me though, dude, and I don't consider this a bad game. I think it's a good game. If I was giving this game a rating, I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. So I think it's a good game. Not a great game, not an amazing game, not a need to own game, but a good game. But I would say Star Fox Zero was probably my most disappointed game of this year. It was crazy, man. Like here we have probably the last big budget Wii U game that Nintendo's going to release, because they didn't release anything else big budget this year, really, of that caliber. It got delayed, I think, twice or something. It was supposed to come out in 2015, came out in 2016. I was really happy. My wife and I were having financial problems, but I was able to. We were able to square things out, and this was going to be my first game I was getting for 2016 was Star Fox Zero. So I was like, oh man, I'm so ready for this. And like, it was such a pile of shit on so many levels. The controls were god awful. They were like so bad, dude. Like it just felt unnecessarily difficult, like, to master. And like it didn't even like help the game. Like, I get if like you add motion controls to like, Zelda, for example, like that kind of made like sword swinging and stuff like that a little bit better. But to make the controls that fucking hard to pilot an R-wing and to not really get any benefit out of it, it baffled me. I'm like, you guys could have made an awesome HD Star Fox game that just kicked ass and was like fun to play and like bit you in the nostalgia bug and made you think of Star Fox 64, which I still think is the best Star Fox game. But instead, it was this like mess of a game. Like, I really wish they would release a patch, and they said they weren't going to do this already because they said, oh, the game was built around the controls. But I really wish they would release a patch that just got rid of the controls and made it just a regular. But I don't think it's possible. They would have to really completely remap the game to do that. But yeah, man, that was a disappointment. Did you know the dialogue only came out of the gamepad, not the TV? Isn't that weird? Yeah, because they want you to feel like you were a pilot and that was your communicator. And I'm like, Nintendo, there's a time and there's a place for this. Don't fuck up Star Fox, man. I really like Star Fox. Like, Star Fox 64 is my favorite N64 game. It is. More so than any other game on that console. And they had to, like, just, I don't know. It really bummed me out, dude, because we hadn't gotten a true Star Fox game in a really long time. I think the GameCube... There is one on DS, but that wasn't really a real Star Fox game. I think since like GameCube, Star Fox Assault was the last Star Fox game we got, and I think like Namco made that or something. So, yeah, I could keep going on, dude, but basically, yeah, it was a bummer. It came with a second game, Star Fox Guard, which is a tower defense game. It's like a spin-off. Dude, ironically, Star Fox Guard was a better game. That game was more memorable than Star Fox Zero. Like, I could tell you more about that game, and it's not a bad game either, but it's an okay game. Like, I would give that a 6 out of 10, but I could tell you more about that game than Star Fox Zero, so that tells you something.
Oh god, yeah, I've watched Jim Sterling's review on it, and oh god, like get Jim Sterling going, it's gonna be something else. So I'm not surprised about.
Yeah.
And kind of wrapping up as well.
So anticipated.
Games I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
I'll say one of them.
Okay.
One of them is Friday the 13th, the game.
Yeah.
Which surprisingly, off the streams I've watched, it looks, apart from the like, massive amount of bugs that are like riddling that game at the minute. Right. Obviously, it's in beta. It looks very interesting. It kind of reminds me of one of those games that for a long time I feel like it's why is it not being noticed?
Right.
Like why is this idea not being conceived before? In the last 5 years or so.
Telltale, man. Should have been Telltale. You hit Jason. Yeah. Hit Jason on the head. He won't remember.
Jason will remember that. I remember I said that. Outlast 2 comes out next year as well. That's I'm not too sure about that at the minute.
Yeah.
The main ones though that I'm looking forward to are Horizon Zero Dawn, as I've explained for other reasons.
Yep.
Resident Evil to a certain extent, not as much as you are, but I'm intrigued because it looks more like PT, and a lot of the people that worked on PT are working on this game.
Right.
And kind of like there's potential there. And the other one is South Park: The Fractured Butthole,
which is still so fun to hear being said out loud.
Yeah, which in itself kind of like says a lot because I don't really need to explain how big of a South Park fan I am. But those are the kind of games I'm very intrigued about. The collection that has been announced that could be coming out, because I don't know if Red Dead's coming out next year.
Yeah, they claim it will, but I feel like that's going to slip into 2018.
Yeah, but otherwise that would also be in the list. But that's my list.
For me, dude, and again, I'm taking the approach Adnan took of like these are games that for sure I know are coming out next year, because I mean there's other games that like I hope come out next year, but I don't know if they are. But the first one is actually Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, which comes out next month. Dude, I'm just so excited for that game. Here's my thing, so you guys can understand where I'm coming from. I was a huge fan of Resident Evil in the early days. Like, I loved Resident Evil so fucking much. I would, like, constantly play them. It was just, like, my favorite game series at that time. Like almost on par with Metal Gear. I really fucking liked it. And when Resident Evil 0 came out and Capcom was like, well, this is our last game that's more of a traditional Resident Evil game, we're going to try something new. And I'm like, okay, all right. And then Resident Evil 4 came out, and Everyone loved that game. They gave it critical acclaim. They said it was one of the best games ever made. Shinji Mikami has made a masterpiece, all this. And dude, I felt like the one guy that didn't get it because I fucking hated that game so much. Like, I really did not like it. And to this day, I still hate it. I just never got into it. I couldn't. And, you know, anybody who likes it, that's fine. You know, it's just my opinion, man. Like, I just didn't like it. I couldn't get into it. And I was sad. I'm like, shit, I miss classic, you know, like Resident Evil. Because we had just gotten Resident Evil Remake and RE0. And the remake was awesome. Like, that was, like, to me, the best interpretation of Resident Evil to date. So, you know, then we got all these action Resident Evils, like RE5 and RE6 and all this shit came out. And for a while, I didn't really care. I was playing them because I'm like, well, whatever. But it kind of felt like you had made this friend in high school, and then they turned into assholes in college, but they were still nice to you. So you would visit them occasionally, but you're like, oh, whatever. RE7 is like, oh my god, they're actually making it like Resident Evil again. Like, yes, it's first person, so it's going to be a different experience, but it feels so much like Resident Evil in all the things we've seen of it that, like, I'm like, oh my god, it's back, man. You know, it's like my friend went and got help and is cleaned up, and now, like, we could hang out again and pick up where we left off. So on that note, I'm so excited for that. And then the second game actually is Sonic Mania, which for those who might have forgotten, Sonic Mania is that 2D Sonic game that is being done in classic 16-bit style, and it's going to be a combination of brand new levels, and it's also remixed levels of like old Sonic 1, 2, and 3 levels that have been remixed to like have new stuff. It's digital only, but I'm getting that damn collector's edition that comes with like that Genesis thing that I think is so cool. But yeah, dude, that's like probably my second anticipated game so far of 2017. That and RE7, like both of those games, just I feel like they're bringing their respective franchises back to like a point that a lot of people felt they weren't going to get to again. So I'm really excited about both of those games.
Right. We've spent a lot of time on gaming. Fuck you, Konami, and Metal Gear Survive. That's the end. That's the end of that discussion for 2016. So, well, I mean, like film and TV. If you want to combine it together, we can just have a quick chat about that.
Sure.
By the way, we need to talk about this off podcast, but Westworld was unfucking believable, Chris. I completely forgot I hadn't talked to you about it, but that is
man.
something we'll be talking about.
I'll just say right now, by the way, that was my favorite TV show of this year.
Great show,
God.
wasn't it?
God, so good, man. Like that, and that finale. What a shit we had to wait till 2018. I'm so pissed about that. Good God. If you guys haven't seen it, like, go watch it now. I think you can get a free trial of HBO Now for like a month. More than enough time to go through the episodes. Go and do it now. Stop this show. Well, no, finish the show, but then go and do it. Because, god damn, it's so good.
Oh, yeah. If acting could kill, Anthony Hopkins would kill the entire population. Like, that's just like, dude, it's so...
He was he hasn't been, and I love him as an actor, but like he hasn't been this creepy since Hannibal. Like I'm putting it out there right now. There's this one scene, I don't want to spoil it, but he was so fucking creepy in this one scene. I'm like, holy shit, Anthony Hopkins is scaring the crap out of me. Like I was like legitimately scared, and I hadn't felt that since I saw Hannibal as a kid. Like it was great. Or not Hannibal, I'm sorry, Silence of the Lambs. Like damn, dude, like because the movie Hannibal kind of sucked, but Silence of the Lambs is the shit, and so is the Dragon one, Red Dragon. That was good.
Red Dragon, yeah. It was a really good show. I mean, like props to Rachel Evan Woods and Ed Harris and all the other actors in the show, and obviously Jonathan Nolan and Liz Joy for like writing the entire thing and whatever else. It was a great show. Like really, really recommend it. Highly recommend it. One of the highlights of TV.
Definitely.
No, there's kind of a lot of TV as well. I mean, Designated Survivor, I really, really dug.
I need to catch
all the way up to the season. Have you not finished it yet?
I have two because they're on break right now for the holidays. I have 2 episodes, and Rebecca and I just have because she's like we have to watch it together, and we have.
Oh wait, do you mean like a break in the sense that you guys are taking a break on it because it's all on Netflix?
Wait, Designated Survivor. Oh, dude! Wow, I guess it's different for the UK because Designated Survivor is Wait a minute. Designated Survivor is with Kiefer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that airs on CBS for us.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I've been watching
yeah.
Netflix.
No, no, that airs on it's not Netflix for us. We oh, no, not CBS. I think it's NBC. No, it airs on a network television. So they took like a Christmas break. And I think they're coming back in January. But Beck and we have 2 episodes to watch
Ah,
and we're caught
okay.
up. Yeah.
I watched it like 2 months ago, the finale.
Oh
Um,
shit.
yeah,
No.
basically the first like 4 episodes were posted on Netflix, and then week by week they released a new one.
Holy
Um,
shit. No, that's crazy. I
so yeah,
didn't know they did that.
great, great show by the way. Yeah, I like the series one finale. Um, but no, like that was a good show. There's loads of good shows. I feel like I could list off a lot. I mean, The Walking Dead won't be in that. Fuck The Walking Dead, for many, for many reasons. Even
Wow.
though,
Adnan, I just checked. Dude, when they're coming back in the US in March.
fuck me, you know, it's
Yeah,
like,
wow, we have plenty of time. Like
yeah, I
Beck
was
and
gonna
I
say,
should watch one a month just to
recap.
Oh man, that's
Uh,
crazy. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, Designated Survivor was good. I really enjoyed This Is Us. I thought This Is Us was really good. It's
yeah,
it's kind of hard to talk about that show because if you describe the premise, it spoils the twist of the first episode. But it's a really really cool show, and I really like Milo. Oh God, how do you pronounce his last name? I can't pronounce his name. The dude who played Peter Petrelli in Heroes. He's
yeah.
on the show, and I've always been a fan of him. I think he's really cool, and good actor. Mandy Moore's in it. She's always a delay. It's a good show, man. It's
Yeah.
definitely a bit sappy for some people, but I liked it. I thought it was really interesting.